One wife was already legitimized. Meri was legitimized. So, what's the difference? Well, I think the difference, and this isn't my personal view, but how many people see it, is that she was the first wife. If anyone could step into our world and see how seriously we take our spiritual marriages, they wouldn't even bring that up. I just uploaded a video about Tamron Hall. In a sneak peek, she revealed that she had been blocked by the family after previously hosting Sister Wives tell-alls for 4 seasons. It was hard for her, painful even, because she got attached to the kids. Now, all 3 parts have been uploaded to Tamron's YouTube, and you can check them out there. It was honestly emotional to watch them reunite. Tamron was clearly still emotional and affected. It was obvious she had lingering feelings about being let go. And it wasn't just that she lost a job, they completely cut her off. She described how they would film for 2 to 3 days, from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., and she did that for 4 seasons. She built relationships. She mentioned that through all of it, she always really loved Meri. I want to say something. I know viewers of the show have strong opinions about Meri. Some don't like her, others love Christine or Janelle. But hearing Tamron speak with such respect and compassion for Meri reminded me of a conversation I had with an advocate who once worked with Meri, not in a formal way, but they had some interactions. When I asked this person who among the wives they found the most honest and relatable, they said Meri. They were surprised by how real she was, how willing she was to talk openly about the marriage struggles. They really liked Meri and Janelle, but not Christine or Robyn. It can be hard for viewers to reconcile that. Christine comes across as bubbly and kind on the show, but that doesn't always translate into real life. Meri's standoffishness led people to think she was mean, when in fact she was dealing with constant shunning, emotional and psychological abuse, and other really difficult circumstances. Meri was Kody's legal wife and bore a lot. During the interview, I was surprised by how clear it was that Tamron didn't have warm feelings toward Kody or Robyn. She seemed ambivalent toward the rest. She said, "I always had respect for Meri. I always wanted her back. I always wanted to talk to her. I don't think Tamron would ever want to talk to Robyn or Kody again." She asked Meri about her relationships with the other sister wives. Instead of focusing on Christine or Janelle since they didn't interact much, Tamron cut to the point and asked, "What is your relationship like with Robyn?" Then she shared what she had observed on set, stuff we, as viewers, didn't see. Tamron said she felt the most tension between Meri and Robyn, not between Meri and the others. She said, "You were his first wife, and I felt like when I asked about certain things, you would look at Kody, and then Robyn was always, MHM. So was I wrong?" Meri responded, "No, you're not wrong." Tamron asked again, "What is your relationship now with Robyn?" Meri replied that they talk when they need to. She said we'll see some of those conversations play out. A while ago, I found old articles from the time Meri and Kody divorced. The rumor from insiders was that Robyn hated Meri and called her horrible names. Robyn supposedly told Kody he had to divorce Meri and legally marry her, or she'd leave. There were allegedly texts between Robyn and a friend where she said Meri didn't deserve more children and was evil. On the show, Robyn and Meri had to act like they were close. But Tamron, who spent hours with them, filming 12 to 13 hours a day over 4 seasons, saw through it. Her observation wasn't that Meri had issues with Christine or Janelle. It was with Robyn. I always picked up on it too. It seemed like Meri had to tolerate Robyn to stay connected to Kody. She had to maintain that relationship, even if it wasn't genuine. Tamron described how Meri would look to Kody or Robyn before answering questions, like she had to speak their narrative. Tamron even said, "I always kind of felt like you were speaking in code." Meri confirmed that. She said when she was in the family, there was a lot of code speaking, a lot of fear about what she could and couldn't say. She doesn't need to do that anymore, although she's still under contract, so she couldn't say everything, which was frustrating. Tamron also asked her about the divorce with Kody. "What was harder for you, the legal divorce or the spiritual one?" Meri's answer was surprising. On the show, she had always said that both divorces happened at the same time, so it felt like she was losing both relationships at once. But with Tamron, she said it was the legal divorce that was hardest because she didn't want the divorce. It was devastating for her. This backs what's been said all along. Kody and Robyn pressured Meri into divorcing him, then spun a narrative that she was doing it for the kids. That's what Tamron seemed to be getting at, how Meri had to look to them to know what she was allowed to say. And Tamron said, "I always felt like you were speaking to me in code." Meri said, "Yeah, there were a lot of codes. And fear." Now, she doesn't have to speak in codes anymore, but she still has a contract. So, there's still more to be said, and she keeps saying, "You have to watch. You'll have to wait and see that." But let me show you this other part too. Tamron asked Meri, "What's your relationship like with Kody right now?" Meri answered, "It's pretty non-existent, to be honest with you. I'm dealing with a lot of grief, not over the marriage itself, but over the fact that our divorce couldn't be what I hoped it would be." Tamron followed up, "What did you hope it would be?" Meri replied, "That we could be kind to each other." Tamron asked, "Is he unkind to you?" Meri confirmed, "Uh-huh. Yep." When Kody and Meri ended their relationship, he made a comment about how she would be his favorite ex-wife and that their divorce wouldn't be ugly. He said he still wanted to be friends with her. At the time, it didn't seem like they left things bitterly. She clearly didn't want the romantic relationship to end, but I believe she really thought they could maintain a friendship. But I don't think Kody is capable of treating anyone kindly once he's no longer in a relationship with them. What's really difficult for these women is that they see how Kody acts with each of the others. So if he's mean to Janelle or Christine, there's always this rationalization. Well, she said something mean, or she wasn't respectful. But when it happens to you, when you're the one he's turning on, you realize it has nothing to do with your behavior. It's just who Kody is. He can't be kind to people he's no longer with. If you're Robyn and you're still with him, then sure, he'll be decent to you. But for the rest, that's not the case. It's strange that even now, after everything, there aren't more light bulb moments. But there's still unpacking years of indoctrination. Meri admitted she couldn't even feel jealousy when she was in the marriage. She wasn't allowed to feel anything. Now, she's finally processing everything. She's realizing that even after the relationship ended, Kody couldn't be kind. Despite all the dramatic statements he made on the show about loving her and walking her down the aisle, saying it was the end of an era. It was all performative. None of it was real. What stood out to me in this interview is how different Tamron's insight is. A lot of interviewers haven't been in the same room with his family, so they don't get to experience the dynamics firsthand. But Tamron was with them for long days, across 4 seasons. She witnessed the real relationships and tension, not just what made it to air. Tamron really tried to get Meri to open up. And while I think Meri has been more open in her Friday Night Lives with Jen because she's promoting the show here, she has to hold back to avoid giving spoilers. Still, she hinted that once her contract is up, she'll be free to speak more openly. And I believe when that day comes, we'll see a different Meri, one who can finally speak freely. It frustrates me that these contracts force them to keep quiet. But something Tamron brought up that really struck me was the way Meri was treated by the others. She noticed that the other wives seemed to view Meri as less than, because she didn't have as many children. Tamron said they acted like Meri didn't deserve the same amount of money or resources simply because she didn't have 6 kids. Even though she was doing the same work, they thought they deserved more just because they had more children. She asked Meri directly, "Was it really like that? Did they treat you like you were less than?" And Meri said yes. She explained that because her body didn't work the same way and couldn't produce more children, even though she would have loved to, she was never treated the same. And it really impacted her. She said it shouldn't matter how many kids someone has, she worked just as hard and deserved the same. And that's 100% true. I know Janelle complained about Meri getting the same amount for housing expenses. And I remember McKelty making comments about how it wasn't fair that Meri had nicer things while they didn't, as if Meri was taking something from them. That's cult-like thinking. Why is it that Meri is accused of taking money when everyone is supposed to be paid equally? If things were really divided equally, then Meri didn't take anyone's money. But because she had fewer kids, the others felt like she didn't deserve the same amount, even though she was sacrificing just as much. Her marriage, her peace of mind, her emotional safety, Everything was on the line. And then they expected her to give even more. What makes me saddest is that Meri, who clearly went through so much abuse, ended up taking that pain out on others at times, because she was constantly in survival mode. Even within their own dynamic, Tamron could see that Meri was treated like she didn't matter as much simply because she had fewer kids. And in Kody's world, it seems like your value is tied to how many babies you can have. That's just devastating. I really feel for Meri. Imagine being the legal wife and watching your husband continue to have child after child with other women. Then, instead of supporting you through infertility, you're made to feel guilty for something you have no control over. You're expected to give up your share because you don't have 6 kids, even though you're doing just as much work. If our workplaces operated like that, based on how many children we have, it would be outrageous. I have 1 child.
1.
That doesn't make me any less of a mom or any less of a person. Not everyone wants 6 kids. Not everyone can have 6 kids. Some women, like Meri, struggle with infertility. Others, like me, have medical challenges that make pregnancy dangerous. I can get pregnant, but I can't stay pregnant. I deliver early. I have high-risk complications. Should that mean I get less in life? I'm so glad Meri is starting to speak her truth. Like I've said before, I think Meri's going to be more honest than Christine eventually. She's already more evolved in many ways. So, what do you think about all of this?